When Columbus arrived in the Americas, he thought cacao beans were almonds. Can you imagine? The man was searching for gold, but right in front of him was a real fortune worth more than he could ever dream.
Columbus saw cacao and said, "Cool almonds. Let's ignore history's jackpot." Genius.
Before you unwrap your next chocolate bar, you need to hear this story. The Some guys worshipped cacao beans so much they offered them to gods and used them as money. But what were the Mayans actually drinking? Forget sweet hot chocolate. They mixed cacao with corn, water and spices, including chili peppers. It was a salty, foamy drink that would shock your taste buds.
Chili and chocolate? That's like putting mustard on birthday cake. Savages!
When Europeans first tasted this beverage in 1575, Italian traveller Girolamo Benzoni declared it was a drink more fit for pigs than men. But in the absence of wine, he kept drinking it anyway. Classic.
Drink for pigs. But he kept drinking it. Like me with whiskey after my third divorce.
Here's where it gets hilarious. English pirates captured a Spanish ship loaded with cacao beans in 1579. And what did these brilliant sailors do? They thought it was sheep dung and burned the entire cargo. When the English finally fell in love with chocolate, it was brutally expensive. 50 to 75 pence per pound. That was an entire week's salary for a skilled craftsman. Only the super rich could afford this luxury.
A craftsman's entire week's salary for chocolate? Clearly, priorities were perfectly aligned.
But wait, doctors claimed chocolate could extend your life. Dr. Henry Stubbs, who prepared chocolate for King Charles II himself, said 1 ounce of chocolate provides the same nutrition as a pound of beef. He also believed it was an aphrodisiac.
Sure, the king's doctor said it. Sounds incredibly scientific and unbiased.
Chocolate houses became political battlegrounds. Tories and Whigs had their own cafes where they accidentally fought over chocolate and politics. It got so bad that King Charles II tried to ban them completely. Queen Anne spent £50 on chocolate in May 1709 alone. That's £5,000 in today's money for 1 month. She was addicted. The royal chocolate budget was bigger than most people's annual income.
But now comes the dark side. The Spanish enslaved indigenous Americans to work cacao plantations. Disease, maltreatment, and brutal working conditions had a catastrophic impact. By the end of the 17th century, only 10% of the original population survived. And then they started importing slaves from Africa. Thousands upon thousands of people were shipped across the ocean in the horrific triangular trade. Humans traded for chocolate. Chocolate traded for profit. The blood price of sweetness.
There's no joke here. This is genocide. For chocolate. Remember that.
19th century, manufacturers were scamming everyone. They mixed chocolate with potato starch, animal fats, even mutton soup. Cadbury admitted to using starch. The chocolate you bought might not even be chocolate.
Cadbury out here, pioneering the first verified food scam? Influential.
But in 1828 comes the revolution. Dutch chemist Conrad Johannes van Houten invented a process to turn cacao beans into powder. This made chocolate easier to digest, and most importantly, chocolate for the masses was finally possible. Then, in 1847, Fry and Sons created the world's first chocolate bar. You didn't mix it with water, you could just eat it. It was a game changer that revolutionized everything. This was the iPhone of the Victorian era.
By the late 19th century, Fry and Sons became the largest chocolate manufacturer in the world. The British Royal Navy chose them as the sole supplier. Sailors got chocolate instead of their daily rum ration. Can you imagine?
Imagine fighting pirates with a chocolate bar instead of rum. Iconic.
Meanwhile, Cadbury built an entire village for their workers in Bourneville. They provided housing, schools, and parks. Sounds nice, right? But their cacao still came from plantations using forced labor in Africa. The irony is thick.
Nice houses for British workers, slavery for Africans, classic corporate responsibility, nothing changes.
Fry and Sons actually boycotted cacao beans from Portuguese West African plantations for years because of the terrible working conditions. But guess what? Most other companies didn't care. Profit over people, the oldest story in capitalism. By the early 20th century, something ironic happened. The majority of the world's cacao beans were now grown in Africa, the very continent that provided enslaved labor for American plantations. History has a twisted sense of humor.
Irony like this, only history could craft it.
Today, chocolate comes in thousands of forms, from mass-produced candy bars to premium artisanal chocolate made from rare Criollo beans. You can get vegan chocolate, sugar-free chocolate, even ruby chocolate. The variety is insane. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Much of today's chocolate is still produced using child labor in West Africa. In 2025, the chocolate industry promised to end this by 2005, then 2010, then 2020. Still waiting.
So, every time you eat chocolate, remember, behind that sweet taste is 3,000 years of worship, war, slavery, greed, innovation, and revolution. Nothing sweet comes without a bitter history. If this video shocked you, smash that like button. Subscribe for more dark histories they don't teach in school. And ask yourself, what else don't you know about the things you consume every day? See you next time.